Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Mike McFly. I will be releasing a rare occurrence at the Warehouse EP on House of Hustle in a matter of hours or days when you're seeing this. And I thought it'd be a fun idea to kind of meld two worlds together where I kind of get to show you around in the project, and I also can kind of entice you to maybe buy my sample library, West Coast House Volume 1, which will be available at the time of the release of the of my EP on House of Hustle. So what I thought we could do here is take a little bit of out of the song Merecida, which is like the lead song out of the EP, and take some sounds from that, blend them together with some of the creative ideas in West Coast House Volume 1, and then see if we can make a new beat out of it. And the idea is to then add this as like a sort of like a construction kit bonus to the to the sample library. And so let's try and do that. Let's make a beat, shall we? Let's first have a little bit of playthrough here through the project. It's all about keeping it simple. Bassline's pretty simple. Super sloppy, but works. More energy. Okay, you get the point. So let's build something from this, shall we? I like the drums here. Maybe I like the let's not use the kick here. Even though I really like the kick, but we can showcase some of the stuff that's available in West Coast House Volume 1 as my Ableton freezes up, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. Okay, so let's grab this part right here, and maybe let's do a resample of this. So here we go. I know of guys who kind of make their next project out of their previous project, and I think that's a pretty cool way of keeping the sound consistent. So that's just a little nugget of maybe a cool thing to try sometime. I personally don't do it because I have a shit ton of sketches where I'm like, there's something in this and I should finish this. But it's a really, like I said, really cool way to keep the sound persistent. So let's sample this real quick. Solo is not on, but we don't have anything other playing than this. Resampling is on, so let's try this here. Cool. We can definitely use that. Let's turn on auto again and no input. So we have this loop here. Cool. Now let's combine this with some of the sounds in the drum kit. I think I'll be using the bass line maybe as well, but we'll see. Let's first create a MIDI track and then search for our kick, shall we? So there's 20 kicks, there's 20 hats, there's 20 perks, there's 10 claps and 10 snares, because I think they're kind of the same deal. I'm just a lazy motherfucker. So here we go. Let's see here. Audition this without the loop on, Mr. Mike McFleazy. Okay, so it kind of depends on what we're going for. I like this one a lot, Perk Banger, because I mean I'm really into like perky kind of stuff at the moment. So let's choose this. Let's see if we can make something work with this. And I think I have a kick clip here, which is on C3 standard. So we're always ready to go. Ooh, that already sounds good. Okay, so I'm sure you're kind of familiar with this trick, but if you change the, I should really know what this is called, but if you change the, let's see how this, the transient loop mode to only going forward, and you play around with the value here, this kind of acts like a gate. Now this is a cool way of kind of reinvigorating and reusing your sounds. And since I made a a loop out of my top, essentially a top loop here, it's maybe cool to mess around with this a little bit. So we can transpose it and use this kind of neat gating function. Okay, that's dope. Let's transpose it down. Okay, I like that. Boom. Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. Let's see what else kind of stuff we have here. Let's create another MIDI track and let's add to that groove. I think it's very important always to kind of see what which groove you're working in and add to that. You can add a lot of sounds and do one-offs and stuff like that, but if it's not complementing the groove that's already there, which granted I kind of took a shortcut there because I I resampled this loop here. But the point is, when we add something, make sure it kind of fits the the narrative, if you will, of the groove already. So cool. Audition a bunch of sounds on top of this loop. Okay, that might be cool if we're sticking to the perky theme. Now I'm gonna kind of do the rhythm on my keyboard here, the computer keyboard that is. Time is probably going to be off because I suck, but also because I'm on a big ass latency here, but we'll fix that later on. So let's go. Okay, so that should kind of sit there. Can be a little bit offbeat. I always say don't go before the 16th note. If you go a little bit lazy, that's good. Lazy is good. Too early is not good, as your mom said. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Okay, that one's too lazy. Let's transpose this now. Because it's a little bit friendly now. Probably better here. Cool. So that's one part of the groove. Let's add some more stuff. Let's look at some more perk stuff. Sometimes it's cool, at least I feel, to place stuff that you don't expect on the on where you would normally put the snare or the clap. Of course, I need to transpose this again. So let's see. That's dope. I like it. Okay, I mean that could work. Let's see another MIDI track, and then I think we placed it somewhere here, probably a bit lazy. Let's see. Okay, so the weird thing is, what I always do is I kind of mimic where you know the rhythm should fall, you know, by sound. So I kind of go like ba ba ba, and then I figure out where this should land. That's my kind of, you know, golden trick for figuring out the you know, the groove of the track and what you should add. It's really silly if you do it, you know, in your own studio and room, and people like, if especially probably if people are watching you, they'll be like, what the hell is this guy up to? But it really helps. So here we go. Okay, there, that's good. Okay, let's see. Cool. So now let's see if we can maybe transpose this a little bit more, or gate this a little bit more. Since we built, you know, a bunch more, you know, a bunch more groove elements, this might not be, you know, it's not maybe necessary to have this as such a big element. So we can maybe turn it down a little bit. Let's see. Dope. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. I think this is, you know, this is a pretty good 4-bar loop if we go like this. Let's grab something from the project again. I think maybe the bass line should be good, but we can kind of experiment with the bass sounds in here as well. Let's see if we can figure something out. So this is only a sample. Also, this is from one of the bass house packs I did for CR2, and it's just a really not too world changing sound, but it's not meant to be. Your bass, like especially if you're somewhere between tech house and bass house, your bass just needs to be the bass. So let's have the bass be the bass. And let's play something here. And if this doesn't work, I have a ton of loops here that we could draw some inspiration from. Okay, we need to up the volume here. Okay, so I had to go higher up the register because we have to keep in mind that this kick on its own, if we look for instance at the spectrum here or at the EQ, it just carries a lot of weight here. You know, here in the sub region, which means if we play the bass there, it's going to be one nightmare. So one big nightmare. So if we go a little bit up in the you know, in the register here, we kind of avoid that. So let's see here. Let's play these two together. Still not ideal. Maybe we should up the side chaining here. And what we can always do is make a cut here and say like, hey, this part is being serviced already by that kick, so we don't need that out of the bass, because most of the time our kick and the bass will be playing at the same time. So you got to kind of look at the kick and the bass. You know, I never process them in the same bus or whatever, but I do look at them as like an element that you need to get right, like the sum of it you need to get right. So it's not about pumping enough bass into your bass and into your drum. It's about getting that balance right. That's what a lot of people are talking about, and it's kind of hard to explain, but once you get it, it's really you know, the low end becomes easier and easier. So my main thing is, hey, the sum of the bass and the bass drum should be you know, should give enough bass within the song. So we kind of figured out that this bass drum has a lot of bass in it. So we can let that be responsible for the lows, and this one maybe for the, you know, the low mids and stuff like that. And also, especially because this kick is kind of long, We don't need a ton of bass here. If we play like a very intricate bass line here, it's gonna not work. So let's try this. It's probably best to not have it also on the one and you know, on the kick. So let's see. Maybe here. Okay, I mean, that rhythm kind of works. Let's see if we can pump it a little bit higher here. So either we do this or we shorten the kick here. So let's, I always do this in one shot mode. I think with the kick it's fine because, you know, it's supposed to be same thing, you know, every hit. So, okay, way better. Even though I like that kick a lot, you kind of sacrifice this to make it work, you know? This perk banger might be good for like one of those 90s, you know, Detroit kind of records, where basically the kick is the bass, but I'm adding a bass line here. So I need to kind of kill my darlings, which is like a journalistic principle, where they say like, hey, you might have wrote a real good sentence and you might feel really cool about it, but does it service the overall story? Does it service the paragraph? Does it service, you know, your writing? Well, in this case, my writing is kind of blocked, was kind of blocked because this kick was so long, you know, and now it's not. So you can play around with how, you know, how tight this kick is by using the fade out like this. I think that's pretty good. Let's add some elements back in. Cool. Okay, so these two now, I think also it's very important to kind of be real with yourself and say like, okay, well, I figured out the bass line, but does this still really work? I don't think so at this moment, but we can revisit it at a later stage. So let's just keep building here. So we figured out a bass, which is really simple, and I'm just gonna do a variation on the fourth one. So it's going to be variation 1, 1, and then variation 2. So this gives the illusion or the idea of it being a 4-bar loop. So let's figure that variation out. So probably here, maybe. Let's see if that works. Okay, that gives it a little bit more speed. That's nice. Let's see maybe if this works in a 1-2 variation. Of course, it's handy to also bypass this Uncle Mike McFleazy. Spending 40 hours a week in Ableton and then forgetting stuff like that. You know, it's all in. You know, we all make mistakes. So here we go. That one's cool. Just a little shot there. I think I'm gonna go with this. Cool. Now let me show you something that I also quite often do, which is like, okay, you get these loops and stuff like that, which you can use in a manner of, hey, I'm just gonna lay this on top, and you'll just figure out if it works, you know? Okay, but what I like to do is grab something from this loop and kind of, you know, create a new new element out of it. So if I play this now, that's pretty dope. So let's see if we can make something work here. Okay, that was pretty dope already. I don't think we have to play it up that high, so let's transpose that. Is that just on the one? Okay, let's try that on the one. It's on the beat. Let's go down one octave because that sounded kind of chipmunky. Okay, that's dope. So this is something I would add after, for instance, after 15 seconds. You know, where I say, I always say to my students, you know, if you can do variations of this, but if you go 15 seconds, little change, 30 seconds, big change, that probably works in like 99% of the cases. So let's duplicate that. Let's have this one here, and let's duplicate this again, and let's have a little bit of fun with this here. We should of course duplicate this here, bass, boom, 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 boom. Okay. Okay, so what we can do to kind of mix this up is like do a variation here, and that can be like maybe doing a reverse here. So just because that idea popped into my head, let's just record one of these. Let's record one of these, and let's just throw a lot of reverb on it, and then blow it up with the OTT. If Ableton wants to load my reverb. There we go. Okay, so OTT, I have that set up as like my main preset for multiband. So if we now go like this, the OTT will, you know, amplify the reverb, and we can record that here. So let's see here. Okay, cool. That's a lot of reverb. That's what we need. So let's record that. Okay, cool. That's what we need out of it. So let's go back to auto and no input. Boom. Okay. Get rid of this stuff here. And then we have a usable sample. So this one's pretty long. That's what she said. But we could probably utilize that. So let's try it the long way first. Okay, I mean that's a cool variation for me. You could mess around with this a little bit here, and kind of do the end point differently. Just because sometimes it gives like a weird kind of spin back vinyl kind of feeling, but it's kind of, you know, nuancing this. Okay, so probably that part I don't want. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's good. Cool. We got 30 seconds of a drop going. So that's good. Let's add another one, another element here, and let's try to figure out a synth here. And we can take from these samples and just use like snippets of it. Okay, so I like, you know, I'm in the mood for stabs. Sometimes I'm in the mood for lobster. I'm not, because I'm a vegetarian, but sometimes I'm in the mood for stabs. So let's see if we can make this work. And sometimes it's just about throwing something into a sampler and trying to make it work. If you can make like random sounds work, and it's not like you're not overthinking things, it becomes easier and easier to make like kind of everything work. So it's always good practice here. Okay, let's try this with the vocal loop on, by the way, because we need to make sure it's in key with everything, which I always do by ear. Okay, that was pretty dope. I'm betting that's on a 3 or something like that, like on the 3rd note. Okay, again, sloppy with the timing, but please forgive me. The latency is off. That's what they all say. But it really is. Okay. It's on a 3rd. That's why you get that ta-ta-ta-ta rhythm. If we duplicate this, we should duplicate it like that, because it goes up 1 note. Okay. Let's not do that. Consolidate. Boom. Okay, maybe it's not on a 3rd. Maybe it's just... it's kind of lame. Okay, let's keep it here. Okay, and let's make this sound a little bit more aggressive. Now, I have a propensity to use one particular plugin for that, which is Rat Shack. I love the distortion on it, but I created something that's similar. And it'll be available soon as well. So that's in my creative tools for Ableton, and it's called Lead Doctor. So that is like kind of how I most of the times do leads now. We can add a bit of drive here. Makes it more aggressive, a little bit of reverb, a little bit of blow up here. That low pass is a little bit too high, so just let's chuck a EQ after it. Let's go like this. Okay. Okay, we should probably bring the level down a little bit. Okay, now let's make this sound a little bit more snappy. So again, I'm gonna go with the fade out. Since we have a bunch of delay on it, it'll be a little bit longer, anyways. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's maybe already chuck a filter on it and see how this behaves if we decide to filter it in a breakdown or something like that. Okay, that's pretty dope. We can mess around with delay and stuff also when we build the break, but let's get to that in a minute. So we have this now. Are we missing anything here? Yeah, we're missing like a top line. If you look at, for instance, at a mix, I always kind of imagine that. So here's the 10K, right? The stab kind of fits in here. You have to pack all these boxes here. So that vocal is kind of here. My bassy stuff is here. The drum patterns and stuff like that is here, but nothing's really, aside from maybe the hi-hat and stuff like that. The overheads nothing's really being played here. So we need something that occupies that space. And since we have like a bunch of staccato elements going on, I'm thinking probably the best way to utilize that space is to not do something staccato again, but maybe do longer notes. So I remember in this track I had a preset here from Sub Boom Bass, which I'll freeze for you guys, that I really liked. So that one's pretty dope. That one is, I think, the one that I'm looking for. Okay, that has a bunch of distortion on it. Let's try this one first. Okay. Okay, and I mean, this seems simple. It is simple. It should be simple, especially for the type of music we're working in. Don't overcomplicate things. It's about the sum of these elements being, a good song. It's not you're not gonna convince anybody just with the top line, it just needs to all work together. So let's see here. Okay, so that's pretty dope. Let's see if we can get away with one register higher. That's a little bit too much. Okay, see, this still works sonically, but it's not servicing that higher register in the mix. So I'd keep that here. And since I was layering this sound in the original as well, I'm thinking this might work as well. Let's see. Okay, we could use that for sure in the in the breakdown. Let's see if we can grab another one here. Let's see. Probably not that one. Okay, let's grab another one from the sample pack. Okay, here's another cool trick that we can try probably. If we, okay, let's do it like this actually. Let's throw it in a audio track, and then let's just loop some stuff here real fast, and then play with the transposition and have this as a layer underneath. So this is probably way off at this point, but we can fix that. We can tune it. Okay. Okay, so at least there it's on key. So that technique I think is pretty cool. I'm not sure if this is the sound we should do it with, so let's try it with another one. And I kind of just roll with, what, as my cat is sneezing, with what's you know, what's coming up in my head, and I think that's very important to you know, to adhere to. Just roll with it, you know. Okay, that probably works. That kind of Walker and Royce inspired lead there. Let's try that. So let's find another looping point, because this is a longer synth. Let's see here. That's the one. Oh. I like it when a plan works out. That's so dope. Okay, so you get here by just experimenting, you know, just rolling with what comes in your head, and I'm just showing you a few techniques in which you can, you know, use these you know, these samples, so you don't have to kind of utilize, oh, I'm just gonna throw on this Walker and Royce kind of lead. You can also mess around with it, you know? Of course, that would be very dope, but now we utilize it in a different way. So what we can do also is make a crescendo kind of element out of this, and make it rise there, and especially in the break, that might be dope. So let's be a little bit you know, forward here, and let's say we're going to a break. So I duplicated the loop there. We have the vocal coming in there, and we have the stabs coming in there. So we can kind of make a decision where we do each change. And like I said, I always say little change after 15 seconds, big change, 30 seconds, and then little change again. And then here the big change is probably the break, you know? Okay, cool. Let's have another playthrough here. Okay, that's pretty dope. I think we can move towards the break. I think having an attacky kind of hi-hat underneath it might help. So let's go to, well, we can go to top loops. We can kind of, you know, see if something fits already on what we figured out here. So I really like that top loop, but you know, it's not gonna work here. Simple one, let's see. Okay, I mean, that might add some texture to it, you know, it's not bad. Let's go to, you know, the forward mode again, and let's shorten the envelope there. Is that envelope? What is that? Yeah, envelope. Okay, cool. I should know this shit because I'm coaching people. But anyways, here we go. Okay, so I always use, I don't cut these top loops too heavy, because if you need something in this range to, you know, that fits really well with the kick, at least it's there. But in this case, we're gonna cut it a little bit higher. Cool. And we can again mess with the transposition. A big tip also. If you bypass it, do you miss it? If you do, keep it in the mix. If you don't, you know, bypass it, delete it, whatever. But that's a good tip, I think. So when I bypass this, I'm like, okay, something's missing. Might not be the level where it should sit at, but we can kind of blend it in here. Now again, bypass it, do I miss it? I miss you so much, top loop. So yeah, let's keep it in. Okay. Cool. We still have these elements. We might be able to mess around with this later on. Let's do some. I'm a big fan of color coding, like you saw in the project here. You know, it makes everything very. How do you say that? The Dutch word is overzichtelijk, which I can't find the name for right now. But it's you know, it makes everything clear and you know, accessible and stuff like that. So this is all my drums, I think. Let's see. Yeah, so let's call this drum group rather, and this is the kick, and this one was the, what's this? No, that was the kick. What's this then? Oh, top loop. Okay, the kick, the this is perk, right? Yeah, perk, and then another top loop. Top loop hats, let's call that one. Okay, let's color code it. This is all, except for that one, that's a top loop as well. No, that's not right. That's synth loop. That's the Walker and Royce one. So let's color code that way. This is a stab. Let's do that as well. And this is like a vocal lead. All right, cool. Color code it up. Boom. Baseline. It's yellow always with me, so that's cool. Yeah, I was talking about a sharp hi-hat. So let's still find a sharp hi-hat here. Just for that knock, just for the transient. If it's not totally there, we can, and we need more attack on it, we can use a transient designer like on the drum bus. Let's just find a good hat here, which I'm thinking should be open but kind of snappy. Okay, so that's has a lot of attack, so we could use that and shorten that. I think that's the best one. So let's throw that in a sampler here. I think I have a drum thingy or a ALC for this as well, Ableton Live Clip. So this is just on the hat, just makes it easier to do this. Okay, let's see how this sits in the mix, and let's, you know, adjust this to taste. Maybe we need more attack, maybe it needs to be shorter, but we'll figure that out now. Okay, we definitely need that, and we need a little bit of attack on it. So let's use the transient knob here. Use this sparsely, you know, use this subtly, just same as reverb. Use this, you know, with a little bit of subtlety. Okay, again, the test. If I bypass it, do I miss it? Oh hell yeah, I miss it. I miss you so much. Open hi-hat. Okay, so we keep it in the mix. Here we go. Open hi-hat. Boom. Cool. So I think we have the drop ready. We have at least we have drop one. We have it ready. If we, you know, if you chuck a cool vocal sample on this, this is ready to go. You know, this is for sure. So we can kind of test that by grabbing some vocals here, putting it on top. Let's see. Okay, let's not do the let's not copy all the automation there. Okay, I mean, you know, just an example that works as well. So let's go like that, just to figure out if it works here as well. Okay, to make this blend a little bit more with the mix, I'm going to use side chaining, and not to the point where it's going to be all Benny Benassi, but to the point where it kind of blends with the mix. So this is kind of my starting point. Let's move this forward a little bit. Okay, so this is kind of taste, you know. This is how much pump do you want? Like, is it going to be a creative element in your mix or not? When I crank this down, I did like the you know, the pumping of the synth. So I think I'm going to keep it there. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so now we can go towards the break. So I always do little, you know, low cuts and stuff like that. I mean, I guess that's kind of a staple, you know, of house music in general. And don't try to change the world. Just make something good, you know. Just make something people dance to. That's kind of the objective. It's not changing the world or whatever. Just make something good, you know. And this stuff to kind of prevent the loop from getting still, it just works, you know. So there's no shame in sticking with something that works. So here we go. Okay, we could probably let this come in a little bit less heavy with filter. And maybe we could use a little bit of overdrive here to make it a little bit sexier here. So. Cool. So last little bitty, and then I'm gonna go to the break. Is okay. How do we kind of staple these two things together? The break and the which at this point is non-existent. The break and the drop here. So I always think I'm a big fan of making the break out of you know, elements you already have in your track. So for me, this one's is a no-brainer here. Probably the vocal to keep the rhythm is good as well. But I also want to use the vocal with a little bit of delay to kind of get us into the break. So let's see if we can do that here. Okay, so that filter isn't going down at the right point. Should go down here probably. Okay, now let's use another one of my devices out of the Ableton creative tools for Ableton. And I really love this one, and it's called Pioneer Dub Echo. So it'll be available a little bit later on, but it's essentially, you know, a delay set up in a way that it's just. Let's not do it on the kick, by the way. Let's do it on the vocal group. That, you know, it just gives a cool delay effect. And, you know, I always say reverb, filter, delay, or any one of those combinations, probably, you know, 90% of what you need to do in your track. Like, I know, at least for me, it's like maybe like 95% of what I do concerning automation and stuff like that. So let's see if we can make a little bit of a crescendo out of this. And while we're at it here, let's use the Master Filter XL on the Master to create a little bit of a dip here. So this one, it just is set up to take out the low end, and you can add a little bit of reverb on it. But it's just a really easy tool, you know, to just draw on your automation. And this is in volume 1, which I'll be putting online pretty soon. So. Maybe let's keep the open hi-hat going for rhythm. Maybe let's do it in a way where it's shorter and it's a little bit more quiet, so it does give us that boots and cats feeling, like boots and cats, like boots and cats, but it's not that heavy. So. Okay, that's pretty good already. So let's set up a snare roll here, and let's use again a sound out of the library. Snare. So this is kind of up to you, you know, what fits the vibe of the song. You know, it's pretty rough, ruffian kind of track. So this rough snare, I think, is pretty dope. And I think for this kind of stuff, also the you know, the easygoing snare roll and not doing like super intricate rhythms is best. So let's roll with that and just do a filter on top of it. Maybe let's not start there. Give us yourself a little bit of breathing room. Automate the filter frequency filter. I don't know. Here. Okay, and very important here is to not keep everything going till the end. Just a little bit of a break there. That vocal can, you know, still be there. So this is typically, if you have a vocal here, this is a good spot for you know, creating a little bit of separation between the drop coming in and the break. So you would kind of go about it like this. Here. Let's see here. Just real quick. Let's have a look-see here. Okay, so this one probably is better if we go like this. She got what she deserved. Okay. Okay. Again. And especially if you then drop to, for instance, a drop where it's very minimal. So let's real quick do that. Okay, I think we don't need this anymore. So let's just scoot it backwards. But if you go to a break where, to a drop rather, where you go super minimal, and let's say we only use the kick there, and we use the bass line, and we use that vocal thing, maybe we use that with a filter because we had a lot of that already here in the break. So there we go. Let's not forget to automate this down, and then there's automation on this as well. That should close. Oh, where's the automation? Oh, okay. I kind of messed that up probably. So let's go like this. We get a extra bit of crescendo. Okay, that bass line is beginning one bar too early. Let's take out the perk and this one and just go with the hi-hat, the kick, and the vocal here. And let's make sure this one isn't playing here. Go like that. And then, oh yeah, the other one I wanted to do is a filter. Okay. Just to separate this a little bit, you know? Otherwise it's too much and we don't want that. Okay, also we don't want this bleeding into the break here, into the drop again. Keep getting those mixed up, but it's not ideal for this. Sometimes it's really cool if you figure out the right way, like on a quarter note, to keep that vocal in, you know, the first couple of bars of the new drop, but I'm going for a really minimalistic second drop. So here we go. That's dope. So now we can introduce this stuff again here, and you know, we could play around with this a little bit later on, or we could do one of these where okay, let's consolidate this loop, for instance, and let's just do a fade on it so it comes in at the end of the you know, of the 4-bar loop. That. That's pretty dope. Let's open up the filter on it as well. Yeah, dude. So this is how I would write a new song, and I'm gonna give this away for free with the sample pack, just as a construction kit. I'm just gonna clean it up a little bit, and then you know, if you buy my sample pack, which I really worked hard for, to, you know, kind of care for, create all the creative stuff and make sure the sonics are there. If you buy this, I will give you a big old internet kiss, and you will get this one as a construction kit as well. And check out my two tracks on House of Hustle. I think they're really cool. They're really, you know, sonically pleasing. They, you know, they bang. They just bang, and they're quirky, which is why I named it a rare occurrence at the warehouse. Which I think my productions are kind of, you know, but I'm leaning into that a little bit more and more. Yeah, that was kind of my, I hope, a little bit helpful tutorial. Yeah, dudes, if you ever need help with your production or mixing or mastering, I'm available. You can hit me up on my socials. I coach a lot of clients, you know, I'm always available to look at your stuff. So yeah, thank you for your attention here. I hope you learned something, and if not, I hope it was a little bit. How do you say that? That at least it was worth watching and entertaining to see me build a beat. Yeah, and I think I'll catch you in the next one.